not the result you wanted on the weekend. Like, what do you feel went wrong in that last quarter?
It's a really good question. It's one that we asked ourselves a lot directly after the game. Probably had a moment of that complete confusion of going, what just happened? But we've reviewed it. You know, we had that yesterday, and there was 3 really good quarters there, and we need to be able to get momentum back on our terms when it does shift. So we're in the middle of having those conversations at the moment to be able to carry it through all 4 quarters and to be able to manage the momentum shifts when it gets on another team's terms. So it's really wrestling that back, trying to neutralise it and then looking to attack. So we'll go to work tonight on what that looks like, whether it's verbal cues, whether it's physical cues, whether it's tactical. You know, we'll work with the coaches on that, but it's really maintaining a 4-quarter performance and those ebbs and flows, being able to ride them a bit stronger.
You came close to nearly knocking up one of the better sides in the comp. What do you feel went right for you guys? What were those positives in the first 3.5 quarters?
Yeah, definitely our off-the-line attack, I think, helped us massively this week. Pretty clear off the back of last week, we went quite straight line, so we looked at getting back to how we want to move the footy, changing angles, taking it off the line, spreading the ground, actually making it bigger. Whether we choose to go down the line or take those options wide, then that's up to us on the day. But our movement of the footy was much more the way that we want it to look, and it just produced greater opportunities to have inside 50s, have them from really good spots as well, and now we just need to convert on the back of it.
Has Dan asked for any volunteers to go to Chloe and Malloy?
I think we were watching the game and I was sitting alongside Meg and we went, right, let's plan the match up. Obviously we take it week by week, but we're aware that she's had a flying start to the season, is a very skillful player, so we back our defensive system in for one, and we're all going to be aware of it. You know, Adelaide had a number of great players in their forward line that we all had turns of having a role on, but we do it as a unit, and that's something that I wouldn't necessarily say it's a shift, but it's really strong this year that if goals are kicked against us, it's kicked against all of us. It's not a single player. So we'll I'm sure have we know what she's like and we're aware of and not naive to that, but we'll back our defensive unit in to get the job done.
Is it daunting going up against a player like, I know you missed her last year with her injury, but she does some stuff that not many others can do?
Yeah, and I've had a turn on her personally in the past too. She is very skillful, very crafty, but it's not daunting. There's great players across the league, and I think that the way we go in, the way that we're building is that we back our defensive principles, and we've been really strong on our identity piece this year of competing for longer. And I think against a player like that, you can't lapse. You just have to continue to compete for longer, see the phase all the way through. So I think that will hold us in really good stead, and we're really up for the challenge.
Really cementing yourself in the best side this year. I mean, what did you really work on over the break to sort of improve your game?
I got started early, that's for sure. It's been definitely the mental side for me. So I've surrounded myself with both ones within the club. Flinny's been massive for me. External to the club, from the Holistic Athlete Development Program, connected there, and that's been both through my skills of building my fundamentals and my knowledge of the game, but a lot of work on my mental game and my confidence in backing myself. And it's not something that happens at a flick of a switch, especially if you do have a season where you fall out of our form, it doesn't change overnight. So I've put a lot of work into that side of things, and then just revisiting that competitive nature that I probably had wavered a little bit from. So that's sort of what I put the work into.
Improving that mental side, what does that look like for a player?
It's a really good question. It's a combination of doing the work so you've got it in the bank. So now having the ability to, through the nerves, through whoever we're coming up to face against, is the ability to go, I've done the work, and you know that no matter what happens on game day, there's that in the bank that I can fall back to. But it's understanding myself and cues when things aren't going my way, how to snap out of it quicker. It's understanding how to prep myself as best as I possibly can what that looks like. So probably diving a bit deeper into the cues and the triggers, whether positive or negative, to then be able to figure out what works best for me to get the best out of myself.
Did you fall out of love with the game at all during last season?
No. I wouldn't say I fell out of love with the game. I found it very challenging. And I would say that then it came back to the people around me. So we have a really strong backline divisional group. Meg McDonald, our captain, is a massive sounding board for me. And we're quite like-minded, and I feel like we can have some really honest, great conversations. So she was huge for me last year, as well as Flinny. And I play the sport because I love it. So there's going to be rocky times, and I've probably all the way through even junior sport, which wasn't in footy, but have been grateful for the lessons and the challenges I've had, because it means that I'm able to relate to other people and I'm able to carry that into my leadership. So it was incredibly challenging, but I probably had, alongside them and my dad, who just encourages me that never forget what it's like to be the athlete. And so I knew that I need to work on this here and now, but this is actually going to hold me in really good stead if I can overcome this.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe the Indigenous jumper being worn this weekend, we saw it during the men's season. It's an absolute cracker, isn't it? Obviously, Lawson's sister did a wonderful job with it, and looking forward to wearing it with real pride over the Indigenous round.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got it for 2 rounds. The next 2 rounds that we'll get to wear it. Lawson came in yesterday and shared it's saltwater stories. So he went through, each of the hoops, which was done by each one of his family members, why they did those, particular choices of the artwork on there, and it was beautiful storytelling to, his journey into football, but then to his ties to back home as well. And he went into great detail and articulated it so beautifully. So now we have a real understanding of what we're representing, and it is such an important round that sheds light on, the contributions of First Nations to the game, and we're so fortunate to have incredible role models in that space within our 4 walls.
Sorry, just a broader question about last year. So obviously, you stuck on the outer a bit. Do you find it is it hard when you are stuck on the outer in AFLW, considering there's scrimmages, but there's not like a formal seconds comp underneath?
Really challenging. Yeah, I think in my experience, so I got to play one of the scrimmages. A couple others were emergency, so you don't get a game, but it is really challenging. I think the girls that missed out last week, there was 50 odd players. There's been weeks. The week prior was like 75 or something that you're trying to manufacture into teams. So not only is it challenging because when you go to those scrimmages, you're paired with players from all across the comp, trying to improve on the areas you've been coached to. This is what we want to see, but then it's also the season's going so quickly. So there's definitely an importance of remaining quite level-headed, because if you feel like you've really got to play catch-up, then it feels like it's slipping away from you really quickly. So trying to manage that, I can see where my best is. I'm not that far away from it, and you got to stick to the process throughout, because it can be challenging. You feel like it's going to go at the blink of an eye, so you got to remain really level-headed.
Those scrimmages, I find it interesting. There's so many different players playing in those games. Like for you, like playing in those games, do you find that it's almost like an under-18 game where people are just trying to show off what they can do, and there isn't the sort of structure that a normal AFLW side would have?
It's different, but I think we're all in the AFLW for a reason, so there's still very skillful players. Whilst everyone has their tactics, the game of footy is glorified keepings off, let's kick mark, get some overlap run where you can. So there's aspects to the game that you should be able to, carry through. Yes, there's elements of you trying to work on, as I said, your particular craft, and that might look different for each person. And that makes it difficult to all be on the same page, but I think you can still, it's all in your approach to how you tackle those games, and you can still get something really strong out of it.
Trying to just feed off the men's momentum at the moment, and no hoops action this week men's wise, and I suspect, for those who really love the club, there's an opportunity to, come and support the girls.
Yeah, I've got no doubt. Even it was beautiful after Lawson shared with us about the jumper. Meg just thanked him. He's one of the many players in our men's side who, any chance he crosses paths with us, he's not asking just the stock standard. He's asking genuine questions about how we're going, how we're feeling. He's really invested in our program, and that's across the board. We've had opportunities throughout our pre-season where we heard from Blitz, Mark O'Connor, Ollie Dempsey, and they came in and shared some of their experiences and even asked questions in return to some of us. So I have no doubt that we'll see their faces along to the game.
Oh, so I was more talking about the crowd. Sort of, the members.
The members. Sorry, here's me just shouting out our boys. No, our members are amazing, and obviously it will be fantastic because our game's the only one. So get along to it. But we've got really dedicated members and supporters that we're super fortunate, and I never want it to sound like a cliche when we say how grateful we are when they come down, because we talk about those momentum swings. They are such a big contributor at times to that when they get really loud. So yeah, we're pumped to have another home game and get everyone down here.